assistance mission in Sudan was created to provide a new basis for our own support. Today, the mission, the UN country team, and the entire UN family remain fully committed to the success of Sudan's political transition, socio-economic recovery, and the achievement of sustainable peace and inclusive development. Looking ahead, vital institutions such as the Transitional Legislative Council will be crucial. And setting the path for elections represents significant opportunities for further progress. Women's inclusion and meaningful participation will benefit the future of all Sudanese. Sudan continues to confront complex security challenges. The attempted coup d'etat, which I condemn once again, is a reminder of persistent threats. It underscores the importance of undertaking all efforts to protect civilians, strengthen human rights, and provide safety and security for all. The rollout of the Family Support Program will help build on the sweeping and transformational economic reforms, as will measures to protect the most vulnerable. While we see improved access in some areas, more than 13 million people still need humanitarian assistance. I welcome the transitional government's commitment to extend critical assistance efficiently and equitably. Greater investment will be essential to help people transition to more sustainable livelihoods, expanding basic services and social protection. And for that, the support of the international community is essential. Excellencies, the transitional government and its partners gathered here today have the opportunity to help realize the vision of millions of Sudanese, men and women, and most especially Sudanese youth, who risk their lives for democracy and peace. We have an obligation to support these efforts. Prime Minister, the high-level event is a demonstration of our and continue working with your partners in steering Sudan on a successful road ahead. And I encourage the international community to do its part and be with you and the Sudanese people every step of the way. Thank you very much for all of you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary General, for both timely and solid remarks. Secretary General Guterres, Prime Minister Hamdok, distinguished speakers and participants, ladies and gentlemen. It's with great pleasure that Norway co-hosts this event, and we value this opportunity to reconfirm our commitment to our friends in the Sudan and partners in the international community. We all remember the historic events in 2019. What began as a small protest led to a broad national movement for change. The point of no return came when the people in the street were joined by democratic-minded members of the armed forces and security forces. You were all united around the call for freedom, peace, and justice. It was a revolution of the people, but I want to recognize the critical role of civilian and military leaders. Together, you responded to an historic opportunity. Now, you have a joint and shared responsibility to protect the transition and to make irreversible changes. You are in the same boat. The transition has an agreed script, the Constitutional Declaration and the Juba Peace Agreement. Success requires cooperation and dialogue. In this case, success is free and fair elections. The world responded in 2019. And this meeting is just the latest demonstration that the international community stands with the people of the Sudan as you, move forward. But while we recognize the progress you've made and the sacrifices, we also recognize that there is work to be done. The peace process cannot be complete before all non-signatories sign their peace agreements with the government. I call on the SPLM, Abdulaziz, and the government to return to Juba to continue to negotiate on the basis of the signed Declaration of Principles. It's possible to find good solutions to outstanding issues within the borders of the sovereign state. Progress on the reform agenda of the Constitutional Declaration and the Juba Peace Agreement will send a strong signal to the public that the government is working together. It will demonstrate that change is irreversible. It will demonstrate that the people of the marginalized areas, not least in East Sudan, have much to gain from the transformation that is taking place. Finally, it will demonstrate that peace in the Sudan is possible. I want to highlight the importance of the next steps. Establishing the Transitional Legislative Council will broaden the representation and consolidate the democratic basis on the path towards elections. It's very welcome that Sudan has now announced the establishment of the Independent Monitoring and Evaluation Mechanism. This will be a useful instrument to find workable solutions to address outstanding issues and find workable solutions to issues that arise as peace agreements are implemented. Lastly, the work on the revised constitution is key. We know that we cannot take democracy for granted unless firmly anchored in solid institutions. Nor can we take a transition to democracy for granted. We were reminded of this just last week when we saw the news that the Sudanese armed forces had quelled an attempt to disrupt the transition. We are relieved that this attempt was stopped before it made lasting damage. To see a new Sudan is our common purpose with you. We're committed to supporting you in achieving this. As we made clear in our recent Troika statement, those who would seek to undermine the civilian-led transition should understand that Sudan's international partners stand firmly behind the people of Sudan and their transitional government. Thank you.